Evil.
Dude, that's what I seen yesterday.
Batman.
I'm driving.
Batman.
She didn't even see me,
Batman.
Yeah, so I remember specifically one night, it was a Friday night. Me and Caleb were both closing at our job, and whenever me and him close, I always take him home. And before, I remember walking into work that day, she was actually leaving as I was coming in. And, we were talking for a minute, and she was just like, and I was telling her, yo, I really, still want to talk, and I feel like we definitely still have to sit down and talk about this, And she was like, you're right. I know I've been kind of dodging it, but you're definitely right. We should definitely talk. And she was like, when you get off tonight, just call me. You can pull up and we can talk. So I was like, all right, cool. Sound like a plan.
What's up?
I'm good, bro. So I was just like, all right, cool. Sound like a plan. So she left. I started work. We end up leaving work. I'm taking Kayla home. We're walking out the building. I call her. No, actually, I think I finished before you. I was going to wait for you downstairs or something like that. Or you were upstairs doing something, I think. And I ended up calling
Was
her.
I talking to Molly?
I think you were
probably?
talking to Molly or something. Yeah. Where basically we were about to leave work, and I end up calling her. She doesn't pick up. So immediately I'm just like, oh man, I really hope she's not flaking. I remember I called her twice, but she didn't pick up both times. So I'm like, man, this girl's trying to flake.
And did I see her up there, and then I told you like, yeah, I saw her or something like that?
No, she didn't. She wasn't closing that night with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, but we were leaving.
Yeah, we were leaving.
No, and didn't she just got to work? That's what I'm saying. Like when we were leaving, did I see her? Then I told you, oh, I saw her up there.
No.
No, that didn't happen. Okay.
No. I'm saying that day specifically, I remember because we were closing. I was coming into her. She was actually leaving early.
Oh.
She was leaving like early to go home. So I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I ended up calling her twice. She didn't pick up. So I texted her like, hey, I'm just leaving work. Can we still talk? And she told me something about her dad like going off on her mom or something about something, and like basically she was saying right now it's not a good time to come over to talk because her dad's like going off and he's like threatening to leave.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know. It sounded like a whole lot of bull to me, clearly. So, but I can't like, I can't say you're lying, whatever. So I was like, you know what? I just gave her the benefit of the doubt and I let it go. And I was like, okay, well, if you can't talk tonight, like when can you talk? She never got back to me. So I was like, all right. I ended up taking Kayla home that night, and the next day I was actually supposed to work at one of my jobs, but I was so hurt, and
You called off.
I called off.
And then we hung out, I think, didn't we?
No, this is when I wrote that letter.
Oh. Okay.
I was so hurt. It was a Saturday, and I was so hurt, and so I just ended up calling off because I just wasn't in the mood to work, or I wasn't even in the mood to like kind of like be around people. It was a tough time for me. Basically, I hit up that morning to see like, hey, I know last night you said it was kind of crazy. Just wanted to check up on you and make sure everything was okay. She was like, yeah, everything's fine. So then she was like, yeah, everything's fine. I'm just gonna rest for the rest of the day and prepare to go and get ready for work later. So I was like, okay, that's cool. What time you working? She was like 5:30. And usually when you come in at 5:30, that means you're closing. So that's when I knew, okay, she's closing tonight. And that day, I just had so much emotion, so much words inside that I just had to get across to her and I knew that I had, because you can't bottle up your emotions and stuff, and I had to get a lot of things across to her, but it was kind of upsetting me how she just was flaking all the time. She didn't want to talk, and she was just trying to prolong this thing, for the longest. And I kind of got tired.
I'm tired, boss. Tired of being on the road, lonely as a sparrow in the rain.
I had to get my feelings across somewhere. And a lot of you guys might judge me, and that's cool. I take all the hate to this day. People still tell me I'm stupid for this, but
I even told them.
But
he shouldn't have done. I didn't call him stupid. I just said like I don't think you should have done it. I agree. You should have wrote it down to get your emotions and stuff out, but like keep it for you, and then like let a couple of days pass, and then if you still wanted to give it to her, okay. But like take it like because you were feeling like all that like you were like cause again you're still dealing with all the stuff you're dealing with, plus that. That's why I feel like you should like because I've done stupid things sometimes where out of impulse.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish myself like if I did something like that I should have like hold back, took some time to think about it, actually listen to other people like you and our boy Gemini. You know who it is. That's his name though. But if I listened to you guys, I would have avoided a lot of heartache. You guys know this for a fact.
Yeah. But no, this is why I feel like I kind of messed up too, because I definitely should have reached out to you and like kind of told you like before I even wrote that.
No, you should have wrote it, but you shouldn't have gave it to her.
Yeah.
I think you should have saved it for yourself, just to like get it out.
But there was a part of me that thought maybe if I write her this letter, maybe she might really not like feel bad, but she might really like
Listen.
see that I was actually serious and listen and actually maybe want to at least have this conversation with me.
Yeah, but I think the fact that you wanted to talk to her and try to fix it would already show that. But she didn't care. I think that's why I said too back then.
Yeah. So I thought maybe the letter would show that maybe she was serious. I was serious. But anyway, I ended up that day when I called off work, I ended up writing a letter. And in this letter, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't intend on it to be. I'm about to tell you guys how long it was in a minute, but I will say that it was pretty long, and I didn't intend on it to be this long. But as I kept writing, like as I started writing this letter, more and more thoughts came into my head, and just started flowing, and I just kind of started to peek more things, and I as I was writing this letter, I just added a lot of things into it. And basically, the letter was 6 pages long, you guys. 6 pages. That's a lot of words, don't get me wrong. 6 pages.
Back to back.
Back to back.
So that's more than 12 pages.
I wrote it on loose leaf paper, just some regular notebook paper I had, and a pen. Straight up. I didn't type it up. I wrote that all of it in pen, and it was crazy because every time I said her name in that letter, I would dot her eyes with a heart. Yeah, man, I was really going through it. And I wrote her this letter.
Molly has an I in her name.
Sorry. But I wrote her this letter, and it was 6 pages. And basically in this letter, like, I was just pretty much just pouring out my feelings, like everything that I was feeling inside, everything that was hurting me inside, everything that was just bottled up that I had to get out of my system in order for me to feel better. I put it in this letter. It was basically me pouring out my heart to her, basically telling her how I felt about her as a person, like everything I liked about her. Like, it was, I wish I still had it. I don't have it anymore. I wish I still did, low key. But basically, it was a lot of that, and I wrote her this letter. I put it in an envelope. I taped it up. I sealed it. Signed, sealed, delivered, personally. And that night when she was working, she was closing at Target,
She said where?
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
Let's go.
That night when she was working, she was closing at the job, I stopped to get her favorite chocolate bar, which is Reese's. Reese's don't copyright us.
Why would they?
I don't know.
That's free promotion.
Yeah, Reese's.
And I ate it.
Perfect. But I went and bought her favorite candy bar to go along with this letter that I wanted to give her. And I went to the job, and I surprised her. I ain't surprised her. Actually, I told her I was gonna come up there anyway, so she knew I was coming. So I go up there. I go to her department, and I see her. She's working or whatever.
You cried a little.
I didn't cry. And she was actually in a pretty good mood from what it looked like. She was happy to be there.
But we were in
you know. And I thought, you know, maybe that's a good sign. You know, she was also kind of like.
Yeah, to mention her Instagram stories that we were seeing before
I
that
will.
too.
I will.
But could it happen before
I
this
was seeing
too?
them after though.
Oh, it was after.
Yeah, I was seeing them after we had broke up, or after she broke up with me.
Yeah, but that was before the letter too, right? We were seeing it around that time.
No, I wrote her that letter that same week.
So we didn't see it until after.
Yeah, I didn't see those.
Well,
pictures.
come on, you got like.
Yeah, my bad. I'm wrap it up for you guys. But basically, you know, and she at the time she was actually like also like kind of like she would do like makeup, like she was trying to be like she was like a beginning makeup artist, and so she would do her own makeup and stuff like that. And that day when I gave her the letter, she's like, "Oh hey, you know, we were just talking for a little bit." She's like, "You like my makeup? Do you like my makeup?" She would ask me this sometimes. Like, honestly, you don't need makeup. I like you just the way you are. I was that much of a cliche. Like, I was so cliche. But it'll make her laugh, whatever. And so I was like, you know, I came in here because what I wanted to see, and you know, I still want to, you know, talk to you and everything like that. But I wrote this letter today, and I would really love for you to have it. I gave her the letter along with the chocolate, and I told her like, you know, like just read the letter, and you know, you don't gotta read it now because obviously she was working. But when you get a chance, if you want to read it later when you get home, you know, on break, whatever, I would just really appreciate if you read the letter, and you know, just tell me what you think of it, kind of thing. You know, like.
Was I working at that time? I think I was.
You were working that Saturday?
I think so. I think I saw you. You went over there to talk to her. I felt like I did.
Maybe. I know Lamont was there that night.
He just telling people their name. I'm kidding. It doesn't matter.
Well, Lawrence.
But, no, it's Lamont.
But yeah. So basically, I gave her the letter, and I left after that. And she texted me that night when she got home. She said, "Hey, I just got off. I'm actually heading home. I haven't read the letter yet." She told me that she was kind of scared. And I said...
Should be.
I told her, don't be scared. It's honestly nothing in there that's like bad or anything. It's actually really a lot of positive things. And I think you should...
Use pictures of you as not positive things.
Shut up.
I'm kidding. Like each picture just has like a different photo of him, like
this guy
and stuff like that. You know, I'm kidding.
But she ends up reading it, and this is also another thing that kind of like broke my heart. But she ends up reading it. Bottom line, she's like, you know, I read it. It was very sweet. I didn't know it was gonna be 6 pages, laugh out loud. She said something like that. And she was like, you know, I really do, you know, I thought it was very sweet, and I didn't know that you really felt that strongly about me, and it made me feel good. And I said, well, you know, I definitely meant every word I said in that letter, and I said, you know, like, I'm still ready to give this another shot. Like, obviously I know there's things that we had to, like, you know, really talk about before, but you know, I'm just not ready to give up on this yet, you know. And she was like, I understand, but I guess she already made up her mind. She was just like, I still don't think that we should really do this again because whatever, I'm under a lot of stress. That's what she says. Okay. So basically that was like the last of it for me. I just kind of stopped trying because at that point I was like, you know what? I wrote this letter. I tried to talk to her. I expressed my feelings to her. At that point, I pretty much exhausted all my options. I thought, actually, I did exhaust all my options. I did everything that I could at that point to get some closure from it. To this day, I still don't even really have the closure that I'm looking for. But I did everything that I could basically to fight for that relationship, and it just wasn't there anymore. I let it go.
You didn't let it go. She did.
Yeah, she let it go. I just after I seen that, I got past it. But this is where things kind of started, and I kind of started to peep a lot of things after this whole thing.
Told you.
So basically, she said she wanted to end the relationship with me because she was under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and she was going through a lot with her family. But what I didn't seem to understand was that why is it she would go out a lot still, like she would still like go out with her friends, post pictures on Instagram, and just be active on Instagram, and basically be like mirroring the story of her like being fine and just being healthy and happy, you know, but claiming to me that she's sad inside and she's broken. Now I don't know about most people, but I don't know about everyone, but most people when they're really like under a lot of pressure or under a lot of stress, or if they're really going through like as they're claiming to that they're going through it, 9 times out of 10 they're not gonna be on social media going out to the clubs or having fun or like, you know, just I don't even know how to explain it, but they're not gonna like be out in the limelight kind of thing, you know. Like if you're really going through that thing, most people are trying to heal, they're trying to better themselves without, you know, and focus on themselves kind of thing without like, you know.
You want me to say it?
Yeah, say it.
Because we talked about it. We talked about
it.
it back then, and like, yeah, we acknowledged the fact that, okay, if she was still like, we gave her the benefit of the doubt. Like if she was going all this, you know, still feeling all that stress and all that, and she was doing all this because of that. Like, you know, I want to like, you know, feel good, so I want to go out and stuff like that. We gave her that benefit of the doubt, but then a lot of the stuff didn't add up. Like she was constantly going out, constantly. Like, I understand like if you want to go out like because you're feeling like you don't want to be in the house and all that stuff, like she could have stayed with him and went out with him. So like that kind of like made us want to cross that out too. And then like we even found out like later on by mutual friends, people who worked around her even told us that like when they hung out, I think when they went to the concert or whatever, like she was either talking with or like flirting or whatever with guys. And when we found that out, we were like, done. What was the exact words did they say exactly? I don't remember. But it was like it seemed like she liked being around, like flirting or being around with the guys or something like that.
I think it was more of the line like she was just more of like a a wild type, I guess. I don't even know.
Yeah, because I think because we talked about this too, like that she wanted pretty much friends with benefits kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you said if you knew
like,
that,
if I knew that, we could have just did that. I mean, I wouldn't jumped into a relationship with her.
You wouldn't have put the emotions
put that,
there.
Like
you would have just saw it as a friend with benefits.
And, you know, it could have been that, you know. But what hurt me was that, you know, she portrayed to me that, you know, like she was feeling it. She wanted this to work. She wanted to be with me. And what kind of even drew me off even more was that she actually said, "I love you" to me way first before even I said anything to her about like love. So that's what really like made me think like, okay, maybe she really is like rocking with me.
She was texting me about getting him shoes for his birthday.
Yeah, so I thought it was really like gonna be something, and that's why I put my all into it. And unfortunately, it just ended up stabbing me in the back. And I remembered and a lot of things that just kind of like made me lose respect for her. Like I remember she would post these like Instagram stories like late at night of like her and like just like a bra and like panties and shit, and just posting on her public stories for people to see.
It's like she wanted guys to comment on it so she could see like who's down to
posting thirst traps and things like that. And it's like, if you're under all this stress, why are you doing this? Like, why are you getting excitement out of this?
No, it's possible that she over here, like that's how she copes with stuff. But then again, like that's not the type of girl that he wants.
Right. So it's
like, 'cause she portrayed herself as a different type of girl when they were talking, and if that was the case, like he would have saw her as a completely different type of girl. Like if you only want to like fool around, we could do that. But that's all that's going to be. Like, I'm not going to put my heart in that.
Right.
Because he'd done that before. But people, like, it was like, you know, like, this is all we're going to be? All right. Like, they told him that, like, that's all we're going to be? Okay.
Right.
He was okay with it. He was like, okay, boom. They did what they did. No emotional attachment.
That's it.
Like that. Like,
you know?
he was cool with them, but, like, they weren't, like, dating. They weren't boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing.
Right. And so, like, the more I start to see that, the more I just kind of realized that her intentions just weren't pure from what she was telling me from the beginning. And at the end of the day, I felt like more of a dumbass. And I, obviously, you know, like, she still wants to be friends, but it's like, how can you really, like, be friends with someone that, you know, you deep down, you know, you still have feelings for them. You know, it took me a while, like a really long time, before I actually even started to, like, not even, like, start to actually, like, lose my feelings for her, I guess. And even to this day, like, I still kind of, like, every now and then, like, I'll think about her, you know. But Caleb would tell you, like, for the longest, I'd never want to say her name.
No, I couldn't say her name or nothing. Like,
I didn't like when people said her name, because I didn't want to be reminded of that situation, you know.
And there were things that reminded him too, like if he saw something, like, oh, she used to eat this or drink this or whatever. Yeah, like, you could see.
It was sad, man. And
but we're gonna cut this short because it's almost 60. So if you want to hear more about him and, like, how he feels about that situation, comment below. You can tell us about situations you might have been in. You can ask us to talk about certain other things that you want us to talk about. You know, like how to get a job, maybe, like, this guy over here got the connects with certain things. You got like 2-3 jobs just from connects. So yeah, like, you know, just tell us what you want for the next video.
Yeah, leave any suggestions in the comments.
Yeah, you just dropped the wire. Like the video, comment, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
The notification bell.
The notification bell.
There you go.
You'll get notifications whenever we post. Until then, we hope to see you guys on the next video. Stay tuned. Manny out.
Okay, that's out. And see you.
Aw, stop crying.